Hey guys, Mars here bringing another Dragon Ball Z Dokkan battle video, and so today we're going to take a proper look at the free-to-play STR Videl EZA. She's obviously a useful unit for the new Broly event, having a mission where you have to use a Videl on the team. She does also give that Broly a debuff. So we're going to check her out here. Mine's EZA'd, full level 10 links. She's a movie heroes leader for 77% or STR types for 50%. Her super attack greatly raises defense in one turn, does supreme damage to the enemy, and greatly lowers defense. And then we have key 1 up to 3 and attack and defense 50% up to 150 per movie hero's ally on the team. So you need 3 movie hero allies to get her full buff. Then she has chance to dodge 5% up to 15 per movie hero's ally on the team as the first attacker in the turn. She gets an additional attack 120 when performing a super, has a high chance to dodge normally, right? So 50%. So if she's in slot 1, it'll be 65% if you have the 3 movie heroes allies. She gets an additional 120 defense for 5 turns after evading an attack. She gets an additional 50% defense and chance to dodge 8% within the same turn with each attack evaded. So 65%, as soon as she dodges once, it goes up to 73. So I mean, decent dodge chance overall. All allies key 1 attack and defense 30%, additional attack and defense 20% for allies for 2 turns, and launches an additional attack that has a high chance of becoming a super as the first attacker in the turn. So pretty much everything about her kit wants her to be in slot 1 with movie heroes allies. The problem is she is very much going to rely on dodge, right? She's got 200k defense start of turn. We share Cold Judgment with Gamma 1, which is like her link set is not good for this team. That is the one big thing, right? She is a movie heroes character that wants to be run with movie heroes units, but her links don't match up with the team, like, at all. But because she has that incremental dodge, like, as soon as she dodges a couple of attacks, so we got, what, 4 dodges? By the time she dodged that 4th attack, her dodge would be, what, 97% or something? So obviously you've got to be careful that the first attack that she takes doesn't just absolutely destroy her. But I mean, she could be very interesting. I could see people absolutely, like, free-to-play players. You could throw her on a team, put her in slot 1, and then get that good RNG where she just dodges every single attack. And then obviously she's going to be very useful in those setups. But obviously there'll probably be situations as well where it's not going to go like that, because you've got to get at least those first couple of dodges in to have a really reliable level of defense, level of dodge capability. Obviously her best hidden potential build is just going to be full dodge as well, right? So you can just get the dodges as much as possible, because she gets so much of a buff from each dodge that she gets. So I'm not sure what the hidden potential build for mine is. That's the only thing I didn't do. Like, obviously I did her EZA yesterday when the Extreme Z area came out, but I haven't, like, looked at her hidden potential. Pretty sure mine doesn't have any skill orbs, which I don't know if I would give her skill orbs. I don't know if she's a unit that I would necessarily use all that much, but obviously the as a free-to-play option, she can be interesting. And of course, because she is a farmable free-to-play character, if I do need to change her hidden potential, at least I don't have to spend any stones or anything, right? I can literally just go back into the event and farm up a couple of copies and change the build if I need to. So that's good. We've got Tapion on the team for some support, as well as the movie hero. I think he has a couple of links of her as well. We're getting really unlucky with the turn thing, though, because she was on turn 2. I didn't have much of an option for that. Which means we keep getting stuck into a situation where the enemy's basically dead on her turn. Because I would like to see a bit more, like, in terms of getting a few more attacks. But that's the good thing about doing this Goku event, is that when we get onto the next phase with God Goku, all of the I was going to say, does the dodge come up really late on that? But there you go. I mean, she got the slot 1 dodge against the super, and start of turn, remember, against the first attack, she only has a 65% chance to dodge. I say only, like, that's obviously pretty good. And then we'll have the trio still on this team, on this rotation, meaning that they're giving the defense buff. Well, that'd be kind of interesting to see what's her defense going to look like. If we do this, we're going to get so many physical orbs. Yeah, that's 15 with 3, so it's like 12 physical orbs. So that's more defensive support than they would give in the untransformed state, which obviously is what we want. But yeah, it's funny to think that on this rotation, because this God Goku takes so much less damage from non-tech enemies, like, he's not really going to be able to do... we're not going to be able to do that much damage to him, which is kind of funny. So yeah, everyone can get their additionals off and not do crazy damage. Whose OST is this? Oh, this is the Worldwide Summon OST. Alright, so hopefully, because I mean, she basically is tied to being in slot 1, so we want a good rotation with like a lot of attacks in slot 1, really. No, the Frieza, the quest mode Frieza is apparently not going to be in LR, but the Bardock is. So Gogeta just getting all the additionals here. Not doing a huge amount of damage though, but that's fine. Alright, so we're going to have the trio support from this turn. We've got the movie hero support from Tapion. They share courage. So she would have 2 links, but courage is attack. Cold Judgment is defense, which is obviously more important. I mean, 517k defense on this turn because of all the support. That's pretty crazy. Remember, each dodge that she gets, not only does she get that 8% extra dodge chance, but she gets another 50% defense as well. So, I mean, that is pretty good. What's not good is the key on this turn. Yikes. Alright. So there's the dodge. And then, yeah, I mean, her attack stat is obviously not anything that crazy, but I guess she's on the team to be like a slot 1 defensive unit. She's also giving support to all allies, so her support is unconditional for everyone. And I mean, there's another turn where she literally dodged every single attack on the turn. So, I mean, you can't argue with that for a free-to-play character. Like, just throw her in slot 1 and she hasn't taken any damage. Like, that's pretty good. She's replaced by the banner unit. I mean, I guess that is unfortunate. Yeah, the banner unit is just like a new version of her. But then I suppose the banner unit could be on the other rotation. But that's the problem, is with this Videl, the biggest question to ask when it comes to any kind of free-to-play unit, I suppose, is, are they worth running on the team? And to a certain extent, with her, you would say yes. But the thing that you have to think about is that she wants to be in slot 1. So, on a movie heroes team, if you're somebody who doesn't have a lot of crazy options, then obviously she could be really good. But if we're talking about a perspective from me, or somebody else who's like a longer time player, maybe someone, even if you're not a long time player, but is a bit of a whale, like, you're not going to necessarily be running, like on a movie heroes team, I have so many other better options to run that can go in slot 1. Now, obviously, because she gives support as well, and she does still have some dodge anyway, it's not like you can't run her in another slot instead if you want to, because you absolutely could. But she gets the extra dodge in slot 1. And then obviously the part of her passive that is probably the most useful is the with each attack evaded and all that. That's not locked to slot 1. So if you're using her as like a floating support, and there's not a lot of attacks in slot 3, or even if there is a lot of attacks in slot 3, she's still getting that extra defense every time she dodges, which is obviously very useful. But yeah, I don't know, it's just one of those things on, like, with how crazy the movie heroes team is now, I don't know if she would have a slot on the team. Her only 200% leads on global are Gogeta for movie heroes, and then Yamcha, because she's an Earthlings Earthbred fighter. So not exactly a slew of like 200% options. I mean, she's on a bunch of other 170 teams, of course, but again, with the fact that her passive is somewhat restricted, you only need 3 movie heroes allies, and it doesn't say self-excluded as well, so technically you only need her and 2 other movie heroes characters, which is easily splashable onto teams like Earthbred fighters and stuff like that, right? Because Earthbred fighters, you can throw any like Gokus or Gohans, Trunkses, etc. from movies onto that team, and you'd have your movie heroes allies. But I think the biggest problem, like I said, comes from the fact that unless you just want to run her as a floating support, and even then, she's only giving, was it 20% to all allies if she's not in slot 1? So there's other better options for support as well. So realistically, to get the most out of her, because I mean, she's performed well in this run, but to get that performance out of her, to get the most out of the unit, she needs to be in slot 1. And I just feel like if I'm putting a movie heroes team together to go into a tough event, you know, there are multiple other characters that I would put on the team before putting her on the team, which is not, of course, to say that she's not good, but I guess it's one of those things you always have to temper your expectations when it comes to rating like free-to-play units. Obviously they're not going to be as good as premium summonable units, but it's still something to bear in mind when evaluating like how much use we're going to get out of these kind of characters. So yeah, we've got a decent number of attacks in slot 1 again here. There's the dodge. I mean, straight away, like I say, after 1 dodge, she goes up to having, what, 73% chance. If we get the next one, it goes up to 81. She's getting 50% extra defense every time. She greatly raises her defense on super. Like, if her kit, exactly as it is now, was on, like, a summonable Dokkan Fest exclusive, with much higher stats and everything, and especially if it was a character that had slightly better links, because all of this performance is her with only 1 link active, because she has these links like money, which barely anyone has in the game. Her best link partners are all like like Kid Trunks, like a bunch of other Peppy Girls characters as well, like who are not movie heroes characters. So she's just like an oddly designed, like she's got a really good passive, but it doesn't necessarily fit super well with her, like, as a card. Like I say, like, if her passive was thrown on, like, a Super Saiyan Youth Gohan or something, you would throw him on, like, a bunch of teams and he'd be really good, and he'd get most of his links active and stuff like that. But unfortunately, because it's a Videl, and she has the links that she has, she's not, like, anything super crazy, which is a shame, because, you know, it's nice to get these like free-to-play unit EZAs that are actually decent and actually runnable, because she certainly is runnable. Any RNG unit, I guess, to a certain extent, like we could take her into the most difficult blue zone stage in the game and she could just potentially dodge every single attack, and then obviously by that metric she would be really good and absolutely usable in the most difficult content. But the problem is, outside of that, like, what else is she providing to the team? Because, you know, we can run other movie heroes characters that can be super good slot 1 defensive units. She's bringing a little bit of support, but she's not really doing any damage. And of course, the problem with characters that build up by dodging multiple times, as we've already said, is if she gets hit by like the first attack, then she's going to get destroyed. So yeah, I don't know. She's decent, but not anything too crazy. We'll get one final turn in here with her, and then we'll end the video. But yeah, she's definitely not terrible, but also at the same time not anything particularly crazy. Good free-to-play option though, like especially if you're someone who is a newer player, or you are someone who's free-to-play, you don't have the craziest stacked like movie heroes team, then she's definitely a solid option, especially if like you have a, you know, even if you have a decent selection of some movie heroes characters but you don't have the craziest like slot 1 units, then she can definitely be an option. Like, I don't think she's bad at all, but she's definitely not like, you know, There are sometimes, every now and then, you get these free-to-play units that get an EZA or something, and it's like, okay, I would consider running these guys on, like, my main, like, you know, Super Saiyans or Hybrid Saiyans or whatever team. But because she's a slot 1 character who is relying on dodge, I don't know if I would necessarily run her on my, like, main Movie Heroes team. But hey, the important thing is that she is runnable. I'm sure at some point we can do, like, a meme run with, like, a full Movie 10 team. But yeah, she's decent enough. Let me know what you guys think down below. I think compared to the Trunks, yeah, the Trunks is really good. I haven't recorded his showcase yet, but we're going to probably do that today as well at some point. I think the Trunks is probably better, but that kind of makes sense because he's the brand new character that just came out, even though he doesn't have an EZA. But yeah, let me know what you guys think of Videl down below in the comment section. I do think she is very good for a free-to-play character. Like, even though I have those, I wouldn't even say criticisms, but just the notes about running her, that comes from my perspective as somebody that basically has every unit in the game. She definitely is a very viable and very good free-to-play option for a team with the Movie Heroes allies. So let me know what you guys think of her down below in the comment section. So that is going to be it for the video, guys. This has been the Master Ningen. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel if you are new. Check out all the links down below, and I will see you all again soon. Have a good one.